All right. Hey guys, this is Vinney Chopra back again. Vinney Smile Chopra. Happy New Year to everybody. And thanks for liking the show, subscribing to it, giving 5-star reviews, and all the content my team and I are putting out there is for you. I hope you're gaining a lot. Thanks again for joining. I've got a great friend. K. Trevor Thompson is in the house today. And as you know, he's all over the internet. He's a brand, and we're going to learn so much from him how to build your brand, how to really do the power of networking. What can it do for you? And then also how to look for good deal sponsors because he's a specialist and he's invested passively so many deals. And we're going to get into all that. I know many of you are probably looking at that too. Being in 2023, you want to put the money at the right place and so on. So it's going to be talking all those things today. And let me introduce, and I'm so glad to have you, uh,
Yeah,
K. Trevor. Do you go by K or do
I
you
go
go
by
by
Trevor. No, I go by Trevor.
Trevor? Trevor, and so nice to have you, Trevor. And, a little bit more background about Trevor. He's a successful vice president with 47 plus years. We don't want to say how old we are, right? Age is just a number. I believe that, just a number. Years in the attractions and the entertainment industry, highly observant, detailed oriented with highly developed work ethic. He spent almost 20 years working for the iFly indoor skydiving. Wow. I
Yeah,
remember those. Yeah, the iFly ones.
yeah,
Beautiful. And grew from one location to 80 locations worldwide. So he knows so much business sense. And as an accredited investor, he's into 20 plus, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot more LPs and SGPs also. Welcome to the
yeah.
show,
It's
Trevor.
such an honor to be here. I've been
Ah,
following you, to be honest, when I started getting interested in syndication. I don't know what backgrounds you can see them, but your book. And it was one of
yes,
the
yes.
first audibles I listened to. And then I
Oh,
met you in Orlando. It's hard to see, but you
yes,
autographed
yes,
it for me.
yes, yes,
I
yes.
remember seeing you and chasing you down, and and it was in 21 in Orlando, and that was when we were finally getting back to conferences, at least in Florida. Nothing in
Totally.
California right then, but yeah, so it was such an honor to meet you in person, and
No, thank you.
it was great.
Thank you. No, I'm so glad we were able to connect. And Trevor, we want to really give our audience some really great nuggets. I know building a brand is so important. Building a brand will bring investors and and you become much higher in the eyes of a lot of people and so on. So please share with us, how you went about getting into real estate because your experience was in a lot of other
Yeah,
things.
yeah. So it was very interesting. So strangely enough, well, let me just think. When I first started my job with iFly Indoor Skydiving, our first team meeting, of all things, the owner gave everybody a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad. And he
Mm,
said, you need to learn about passive investing. You need more income than the job I'm going to give you. And I did what everybody does. I put it on the shelf and I kept doing my job. And I didn't do it. I was afraid of toilets, tenants, and trash. I was afraid of the responsibility. I used
sure.
the excuse, no time, no money. A lot of people
Yeah.
use that as well. And then
Yes.
spent my whole years working hard, doing all the things. And then we got bought out by a private equity company and I got a big payday. And I remember
Mhm.
thinking, wow, I paid so much tax. And I knew about real estate and I knew that there was tax advantages to real estate. And it just triggered something in my mind. And I said,
Mm.
I'm not going to let the year end until I figure out what I'm going to do with real estate. Because I got to get into it. I got to figure this out. And then I started
Yes.
listening to books, which was one of them was your apartment
Uh,
syndication made easy.
uh, so,
And I started to think about it. I started thinking, well, this is pretty easy, but I still had a job, so I wanted to learn about passive investing. And so I
mhm.
started I went to about 3 different weekend seminars, found a group, still not the best group, but I got at least some mentoring, and I started
Mhm.
passively investing. And then I'm an inquisitive kind of guy. I like to learn. And so I
Yes.
just kept absorbing books, more and more books, and more content about what to do. And
Yes.
you know, when I would ask questions and I couldn't get my questions answered, I would go research them and find somebody. You know, I listened to so many podcasts, read so many books. And then,
Yeah.
as I said, I started passively investing, and I was quite happy being a passive investor. You know, there's
Mhm.
a lot of people think, oh, I've got to become an active investor.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though I did, you
Mhm.
don't have to. You could
No.
certainly do very well. And I actually recommend people to
Mhm.
stay in their W-2
Mhm.
longer,
Mhm.
because what a lot of people don't think, well, I want to get out and I want my passive income to pay for my lifestyle, which
Mhm.
is a good goal. But a better goal is to have your passive income compound and continue
Yes.
to grow. And a lot of people don't
Totally.
talk about that, right? So if you
Mhm.
think about it, if you had $100,000 and in 5 years it became 200, and in
Mhm.
5 years it became 400, five
Yep.
years became 800, five
Mhm.
years became 1.6 million, 5 years
Yes.
became 3.2 million. That's 25 years. We're older, so it's a little hard for us to get 25 years more, but
Yes.
for a lot of the young folks listening,
Yeah.
so what you want to do is you want to reinvest your income until
Yeah.
you reach this point where it's, I'm going to call it next level. In other words, you have more coming in than you can compound. So a lot of people don't understand the power of passive investing and
Mhm.
reinvesting what you earn. And that's how you really get wealth, right? By
Totally.
compounding your money, by continually growing it. We all know real estate is the most tax efficient way to grow it, with
Mhm.
all of the depreciation and all the things. And even if you have a W-2, you can't use all of it, but all of your
Yeah.
passive income can be tax free. So think about that, right? None of
Totally.
your stock income is tax free.
Mhm.
All of
Mhm.
these things, none of them are. It's this amazing machine, that creates it. And so I just kept investing in more and more, invested in a couple of different asset classes, and I became hooked. You know, as obviously I've invested in
Mhm.
20 syndications
Yep.
in less than 5 years.
Yep.
And I always re-rolled my money back in, right? Instead of,
Yep.
talked about before,
Taking it
right?
out.
I
Yep.
want it to
Mhm.
continue to grow, right?
Mhm.
And I do understand at some point the goal is that it's sustaining, but for now I'm trying to continue to grow it.
I love it. I love it. No, thank you so much. It's so true what you're saying. Like operators who are doing syndications like me and others, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Sometimes people don't understand that. They want to get into overnight, become active. What you are doing is so great to do passively and get that wealth built up. And then if you want to, like you are doing now a little bit, I think,
Yeah,
into general partnership, which is great, finding the right partners who can bring different values, I
yeah,
call it, right, into the system so that we could all grow together, right?
yeah,
But maybe for the audience, like, what do you look for if you were to invest 100,000 in 2023?
yeah.
What were maybe five factors or whatever, you look
Yeah,
for?
so for me, number one is who you're giving your money to.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
You
yes,
want,
yes.
they call it know, like, and trust, but I think it's even more than that. It's aligned values, right? Do
Mhm,
they think the way you want to do? How
mhm,
are they
mhm.
going to earn your money? How are they going to respect your money?
Yeah,
How is the deal set up? In other words, a lot of deals now have preferred payments where the
yeah,
LPs get paid first. I
yeah.
never invest in a deal where the syndicators or general partners get paid first, right?
No
I want
way,
them to
never.
pay the investors, then
Yes,
they get paid based on the
totally.
success.
Yeah.
And so I like deals like that. So getting to know people, and how you get to know people are people that put education out there, people that
Mhm.
answer questions, they teach you pros and cons. That's who you want to give your money to.
For sure.
When you meet somebody, you want to say, could I see what you're giving your investors on your reporting?
Yeah.
You want to look, what kind of reports are they giving you? You know, was on a couple of deals early on. They gave us nothing, like nothing. It was like 3 slides on a PowerPoint. And one of the times I asked a question, oh, how did we're done 1 year. How did we perform based on performa? Their answer was the performa's in the PPM, go look it up. And I thought, what in the what?
Oh,
I gave you my money.
yeah.
You know, so number one is that. Number two, you need to look for whatever investment it is, it suits your personal needs at the time. So if you need cash flow, you want to look for a deal. In other words, if you need that money to live on, some people do, right? Even though we talked about try not to, some people need that money to live on. So you want to look for a deal and say, okay, is this providing cash flow? Number two, and even before that, but you want to look where it's going to, the area it's going to be in, right? So you want to make sure it's in a good growing economy with, you know, jobs coming to it. I always look for pro landlord, pro business states to invest in. You know, sorry, California, I'm not investing. I have some friends that do though, and they do real well, but they know it. They really, they understand the market. You know, but most of my investments, Arizona, Texas, Carolinas, I like Florida, haven't done there, where a lot of deals are. But you want to make sure that the investment suits your needs. So when I had a high paying W-2 job, I looked for wealth creation. So for me, the most important was, what is my IRR? That was the time use of my money. And if it was more than 16% roughly, I was okay. And then I looked for multiple of my money. That was my second thing, right? Now, if it takes you 10 years to double my money, it's not such a good investment. If it takes you 5 years to double my money, it's normal. It's a good investment. So at the time, I looked for that because I didn't need the cash flow. I wanted to double my money every 5 years. That was my goal, right? So I wanted to take the money I had, and just like the math thing I did at the beginning of the show. So that was important to me. And then the asset class is important, right? So again, I'm big in multifamily. I know you're big in multifamily. And with the housing crisis in America, it's a solid investment. Everybody needs a place to live. Everybody, you know, wants to live in a safe, better place. So if you take apartments that need love and care and upgrading, you can upgrade them and make it a better place to live, right? So at the end of the day, that one is very good because you're making places better for people to live, and then investors are making money doing that. One asset class that I haven't invested in, but I'm starting to look at is seniors living, which I know
Senior living,
involved in. And soon I need to invest in one so I can move in a few years. But you know, but it's a big growing class of people, right? We're living longer. You know, and this is going to be a big one. You know, there are lots of other ones, and there's nothing wrong with them. But for example, storage. A lot of people making money in storage. But I'm not excited keeping your junk. I don't go home at night and go, man, I kept everybody's junk safe. You know? But it doesn't mean it's not a good investment, because often it can provide the cash flow. Not maybe the multiple of your money, but the cash. So again, what type of investment? And then we talked a little bit about the where, right? So the way I look at it is, it's like a racetrack. You're betting on the jockey. The horse is the asset class, and the track is, where is it, right? So you want to make sure the where is it, you know. So I know I live in Austin. You've got some deals here in Austin. Phenomenal city, right? Even though things have slowed down, Austin's still on fire, right? All Central Texas is on fire. Arizona's on, you know, lots of good growth. And so you can't go wrong investing in areas that people are moving to. Unfortunately, you know, with all you folks from California coming over, housing is more expensive, so more people are staying in apartments, which is that's life, and that's what makes apartment investing very good.
For sure. No, thank you. You're so good in explaining the whole thing. It's so true. You know who the jockey is, or jockeys are. You know, It could be the horse or horses, how many portfolio they have, and how they got together in the top level.
Yeah.
That's been something very, very important, because I find, and I say, too many cooks in the kitchen can
Mhm.
burn the recipe. They can
Yeah,
have troubles, they can have partnership failures, all that. So that's a very big thing to
it is.
see who are the people on the top and what's their track record, like you
Yeah.
said, and where they are buying and all. Exactly, for
Yeah.
sure.
And are they
Yeah.
providing value to the community?
Yes, that's
You know,
right.
I
Yeah.
mean, this you're successful now, but you're still providing value.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
impressive for me. I mean, I was
Sure.
excited to come here today, and I was
Ah,
excited to
thank
come here
you.
today because
Thank you.
you truly want to add value. You truly
Yeah.
want people to learn. You want people to enjoy the benefits of passively investing in real estate. It's so powerful.
Thank you. Thank you. And senior living, I turned 70 last year. I'm 71 this year. But the exciting part is the senior tsunami. I just open my heart, when I talk to seniors who are 80, 86, 90 in my facilities, and they love it. And I did a video, actually. We need to find that video when they were having lunch. And I was there in Florida, and they videotaped me, our videographer, Tony. And, they said, we love it. We love over here. And we
Yeah,
love the food over there. And they said, we are gaining weight. Those things are very meaningful to us,
they
because the
are.
experience they can have, and they are well taken care of in our facilities, Hampton Manor. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Thank you.
the beauty of it is it's a win-win-win, right?
Yes, yes,
So you as a sponsor, you do a successful deal, you win. Your
yeah,
investors investing in the deal are winning, and the people who are
yes.
using the facilities are
They
winning.
are winning. They
You
are
know,
winning.
because I know I visited my papa in an old folks home and it wasn't very nice.
Oh
Even my
wow.
mother, I had to put her in a home and there were no
Yeah.
options, and it broke my heart, that,
Wow.
and you think
Wow.
about that. And a lot of people, it was very hard on our family because there were no nice facilities up there.
Yes. So
Um,
true.
and she lives up in northern Canada area, because I'm originally from
Canada.
Canada, and it just wasn't a
Yes.
nice facility there. And so
Wow.
it's a huge need. And so when you can align all of those things, right? You fulfill a
Together.
need in
Yeah.
society, which is apartments or senior living. And don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, storage is a
Yeah.
need. I actually have a
Totally.
storage
Totally.
investment.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
and I'll tell you an interesting story how I got there, and it follows it. So I met a lady who was raising some money, and I know you know her very well, Vinky
Mm.
Luma.
Uh-huh.
You're
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
her. She lives down the
Yes.
street, I
Yes.
think, from you or whatever.
Nice. Very
But I'd
nice.
spent a year getting to know her, and
Mm-hmm.
a couple of, and then she was raising money for a storage unit in
Mm.
North Carolina, Charlotte, and I have a brother there. And I was like, I wanted to get an investment in the Carolinas. I wanted to do a
Yes.
storage, and Vinky was somebody I knew,
And
liked,
it.
and trust. I spent a year
Love it.
getting to know her. And so
Love
it
it.
was like, wow, I called it the trifecta. All
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
stars aligned. And
Sure.
I mean, literally, I went to the webinar, read the PPM, and within
Mm-hmm.
24 hours sent my money.
Yeah.
Because
Totally.
I did
Sure.
my homework.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to be in new build storage in a new build area, right? I didn't want to do the
Love
ma
it. The old
renovation.
mom.
Yeah.
Totally.
It doesn't mean
No,
that's
very
a bad
nice.
business.
Not at
That's what
all.
I wanted to do. Here's a community that's growing faster than it can. They put
Yes.
in a nice big first class facility for storage, big need for it.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, I
so
agree.
all of those things aligned. But if I hadn't have got to know Binky,
Yeah.
I may
Yeah.
not have ever invested in that storage unit
So
because
true. So
I,
true.
I got to trust her.
Yeah. And I believe in diversification. That's what you're
Yeah.
saying also. Trevor, I'm into 15, 16 different businesses, but the key thing is diversifying into hotels, that I'm into big hotels
Yeah.
also now. Of course, developments, build to rent also, I'll be doing some. But the key thing is it's all related to residents,
Yes.
because that's what is the market, and that's what, we are all in there. Let's spend a little bit time about social media. If you could, how to build the brand or how to network. What would
Yeah.
you
So first of
give
all,
some pointers? Yeah.
it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
and you certainly can use VAs to make it better. But I always know if it's your VA talking to me, and it actually
Mhm.
annoys me, and I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's one thing for them to put the messages out there, but it's another thing
Mhm.
that, you know, I know this person and they're speaking to me like I got a
Sure.
message from a good friend of mine, you know, are you interested in passively investing? And I answered
Ah.
back, are you his VA? Like, we know him, I know him. And I
Yeah.
sent it
Yeah.
to him and he says, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So it's, first of all, consistency is very important. You have to
Mhm.
provide value, right? So you
Correct.
have to provide, you know, whether it's yours is smiling and being happy and being
Mhm.
positive, you know, but little thoughtful things, and try to be creative to capture
Mhm.
people's attentions. Because if you don't capture their intention, right, you know, because we're all
Yeah.
just zipping through
Yep.
the Facebook, right? You got to
So
capture
true.
their attention, and then you have to really personally try to connect with people.
Mhm.
You know, that's the next level, right?
Yep.
To
Yep.
connect with people, and it's not easy, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes a lot of work, but it's vital if you're going to grow a brand.
So
You
true.
know, if it's vital if you're, you know, gonna want to get known, get out there. So it was very important for me because I was switching from completely passive to being active now. And
Mhm.
so I wanted to build my brand. I wanted people to see me as an expert.
Mhm. Yes.
And you know, and so I tried to provide information. Here's what I've learned,
Mhm.
and provide that information to you. And a lot of people don't provide it. So give you an example. There was an investment that I could have made, and I had my retirement money and I
Mhm.
had cash money. And I asked the
Yes.
person, oh, which one should I use? He said, it doesn't matter. But it did
Mm.
matter because I used my retirement money and I didn't get the depreciation. Um, so
Ah, yes.
could he have just said, listen, you can use either, but let me tell you the facts. Just
The
let's
reason.
be
Yeah.
honest, right? He just wanted
Mhm.
my money. He's not going to get any more
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
that. But if he'd
So
have
true.
said to me, Trevor, you know, hey, we're going to have some good depreciation from this deal. I think you
Mhm.
should use cash if you need the
Mhm.
depreciation, and then save
Totally.
that money for, because there's lots of places to put that money, right?
Totally.
You know,
Totally.
one of the places I put that money in, I have investment in a medical center, one of those
Mhm.
small emergency things, and they only
Yes.
offer prep payment, but so there's no depreciation, there's
I
no
see.
UBIT fears.
Sure.
But somebody educated me, and I think I
Yeah.
want to educate because I made a mistake. So I made lots of mistakes, and now I try to help people not make my mistakes.
I
And I
love
know
it.
you do the same thing. I know you.
Thank
I
you.
mean,
Thank you.
if you
Yeah.
haven't made mistakes, I don't believe you.
Yeah. So true. Every road is not straight, and
Yeah.
it's never,
But
life is up
but what
and
you
down.
want to do
Yeah.
is provide that information to people, and that's
Totally.
who you should look
Totally.
for to give the money to, right?
So true.
And then on social media, the next thing is to be genuine, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like, don't
So true.
be like, I know you, I met you in person a couple of times. I've been to
Yeah.
several webinars and things.
Yeah.
You're the same person all the places.
Oh, thank you.
And
Yeah.
but some people look good on the internet and then not so good in person, or the way they conduct their business. And so you want to connect with people more than their social presence. You want to get to
So
know
true.
them, know what's important to them, know their values, you know, just
Sure.
silly, simple little things, but it makes all the difference in the world.
So true. So true. Trevor, you hit the nail on the head. That's so true. It's the person who they are. They
Yeah.
cannot be two people, three people, same person, genuineness, integrity, transparency, and education. I'm so glad you said that because a lot of time people are just looking for money, looking for money, looking for money.
Yeah.
You got to give value. You got to, I always say, teach the investors when they come on a webinar or one-on-one so that they are better person after they
Yeah.
leave. Whether they invest or don't invest, that's immaterial, but sharing with them the knowledge how they could gain the higher value,
Yeah.
high returns and equity and all that. No, that's
Yeah.
so wonderful, so wonderful. What else can we say? Any books you're reading or any apps you can share, which are very helpful to you with the
Yeah, so
audience?
I read tons of books. So
Yeah,
I read a lot of books, and
yeah,
I try not to only read real estate books, but I read a lot
yep,
of books.
yep.
And by the way, on my YouTube channel, I promote your book. So
Oh, thank you, thank you,
and there's several
thank you.
books there that I promote. And I'm a big Grant Cardone fan. So 10X,
Hmm.
and, Be
Yes, I
Obsessed or
like.
Be Average. I turn my
Yes,
car into my university. I live in Austin, but I go to Dallas, Houston, San Antonio all the time. People say, well,
yes,
what do you do? And I said, well, I listen to books. I did a
yes.
hundred books on Audible,
Wow.
just being in my car or at the gym or doing
Yep,
different things. So
yep.
and I am not as techy as I'd like to be. So apps,
Hmm.
things they frustrate me because I'm not very good at them. So
Hmm.
and
Hmm. No
I
worries.
actually just got on Instagram, and I'm kind of like a fish out of water. And everybody kept telling me for a year, you got to get on Instagram, and I'm not quite sure if I'm making any impact yet, but I got there, and I'm just trying to post, some content,
Sure,
and again, my
sure.
goal is, my Facebook group is called Learn and Earn, right? I want people to
Learn and learn.
to be able to
Yep.
learn and then earn. I want you to be educated
Yeah.
first.
Sure. So true. So true. No, that's so exciting. I really appreciate your spending time with me, Trevor.
No,
It
it's
was
been
such a
such a
pleasure.
pleasure.
It's truly a pleasure, and hopefully we'll meet at one of the seminars this year. I don't go to too many seminars at all. Just one I did last year, and I'm committed to one, which is the Million Makers
Okay.
Summit that I do it in Orlando, and I'll be going there again in October, I think. But no, really pleasure, and thank you so much for your time and all the value you're giving to your audiences, to your investors, to everybody that's touching you. And that means a lot. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Well, thank you. And
And
and everybody
yeah.
who hasn't should read your books.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
'Cause They're,
much.
they're
And
very
then,
they're very thoughtful. And
oh,
and
thank
and they
you.
give you a nice progression, right? You start here and you go from, I like that. I'm a progression kind of guy.
Sure.
And it was very easy to learn.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And the second one, the positivity brings
Yeah.
profitability. My third book is coming out. I would love to tell everybody Senior Living Investing Made Easy. So I kind of teach what senior living is about and all the ins and outs and how everybody could really benefit with the silver tsunami. So
Yeah.
that's the third book I'm
That's
writing.
awesome.
But
Congratulations.
thank you. How can people reach you, please, so
So,
that we can
so
put
the
the book?
best way is
Yeah.
through LinkedIn. So K
Okay.
Trevor Thompson.
Mhm.
My company is called Niagara Investments because I'm from Niagara
Yep.
Falls, Canada, and you see my
Yes.
waterfalls here. So, but
Yes.
on
Yes.
LinkedIn or Facebook, but LinkedIn's the easiest.
I see.
So K Trevor Thompson, and then my website is just Niagara, and it has a dash investments.com.
Beautiful. Beautiful. No, thank you so much for your time.
My
Actually,
pleasure.
I will say we'll see you next time. Remember to like it, comment, and pass this episode to other people who can really learn a lot from it. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you next time.